My name is Fannie Mail, and I'm 28. The original didn't state an exact age. I'm keeping it consistent with the implied late 20s timeline. In my family, my role was assigned before I had a say. Emily was the headline, and I was the footnote that fixed the printer. If you sat at one of our Sunday dinners, you'd hear Mom glide through her practiced opener. Emily, oh, she's our star. Valedictorian, MBA, strategy consulting, whatever that means. Then a smile that only lifts one side of her mouth. And Fanny, well, she's just so handy with computers. Handy, a word you use for a rubber band or a spare key. I've been handy since I was 10 and cracked Dad's password-protected spreadsheet full of fantasy football stats. He grounded me for 3 weeks, then introduced me at parties as our little hacker, like I was a parlor trick. Cute when you're a kid, corrosive when you're an adult. I taught myself to code by reverse engineering browser games. In high school, I built an inventory app for a bakery that still uses it. They paid me with a $25 gift card and a lemon tart. Emily, by contrast, framed her school awards and announced new jobs with Canva infographics that could blind a pilot. She's not evil, just engineered for applause. Everything optimized for praise. She once got stuck in an elevator and turned it into a viral thread about resilience frameworks. I posted a Wi-Fi meme and lost 4 followers. In my family, utility became my love language. You fix the router, you get leftovers. You replace the dying hard drive, you get a pat on the head. That was fine, until it wasn't. The day it shifted began with a knock and a laptop wheezing like it had asthma. Emily breezed in with an iced latte and a crisis. Hey, can you look at this? It's making a weird clicky sound, and I have a call in 2 hours. I opened the chassis and stared into the archaeological dig site of her habits. Dust dunes, a hard drive screaming its last, updates overdue since, well, another administration. I cleaned, backed up, swapped in an SSD, reinstalled her apps, and even replaced her charging cable held together by Scotch tape and optimism. I handed it back. Emily glanced up with that glossy smile. Thanks. You're like, super useful. Not impressive. Useful. The word landed like a stamp across my forehead. Appliance. She left without a thank you note, without even the dignity of pretending. I sat there holding her old frayed charger like it was a severed tether to the version of me that said yes, because that was easier than asking to be seen. That night I didn't rage. I revised. I rewrote my freelance site, rebuilt my portfolio, posted availability with weekend emergency support, this time with a rate. If you want my brain at 2 a.m., it has a price. At 2:13 a.m., my phone pinged. Subject, server down, urgent, found your profile, internal servers dead, locked out, CTO spiraling. Can you help tonight? We'll pay. Sean D. I hovered. Then my screen lit up with a text from Adrian, my boyfriend. You're awake? Did you hear the rain? I typed back. Got an emergency ticket. Co-working space downtown. I'll share my location. Pause. Those 3 blinking dots. Be safe. Call me when you park. I called the number in the email. Is this a server fire or a metaphorical one? I asked. Both, Sean said, breathless. Doors open. Unit 207. The building was liminal, half-lit, exposed brick, plants kept alive by ambition and stale LaCroix. The door to 207 was propped open with a whiteboard that said, Hustle Harder. Inside, 5 people, 2 laptops, 1 blinking rack, and a guy whispering affirmations to a UPS battery. You must be Fanny, someone said. Depends, I answered, dropping to a crouch beside the rack. Am I about to be the grown-up in the room? A nervous laugh rippled around us. Sean, hair wild, hoodie unzipped, handed me a soda I didn't drink. We pushed a dashboard update, he blurted. Everything froze, backups glitched, we lost admin access, dev env died, and we pitched to investors next week. So you updated your outfit and set your closet on fire? I said, plugging in my recovery stick. Cute. I worked. Isolated a corrupted boot sector, reset admin privileges, restored backups, and routed them to cloud redundancy with alerts that actually do more than blink politely. The room went reverent the way chaos does when it meets competence. At 2:14 a.m., the dashboard exhaled back to life. The guy with the UPS battery clapped once, like he had to ration it. Someone handed me a cold sandwich. It tasted like validation. Sean sat on the desk, exhausted gratitude softening his edges. I'm sending you double, he said. And if you're open to it, retainer, not just emergencies, real stuff. Yeah, I said, surprising myself with how steady it sounded. I'm open. I packed my kit. Before I left, I checked my phone. A message from Adrian. Text me when you're done. I'm awake. I smiled and typed, all good, heading out. Will call from the car, 3 dots. Then, proud of you. In the elevator, I caught my reflection. Hoodie, under-eye shadows, hair in a practical knot. No ring light, no carousel of winds. Just the quiet high of being paid for work that had always been treated like a party trick. I drove home through streets slick with rain and thought about that word useful, how I had worn it like a uniform that never fit. Maybe the problem had never been the word itself, but the missing second half, useful and impressive. When I got in, I lined up the hard truths like tools on my desk. I'm not a family appliance. If you want my midnight, it costs money. Respect shouldn't arrive only after the problem is solved. My phone buzzed again. An email with a calendar invite from Sean. Weekly sprint sync. I accepted. Then another buzz. A notification from a VC partners comms list. Something about brand stories around founders and launches. A stray name jumped out. Lena Park. Someone Adrian once dated who floats through the same orbit of brand strategists and storytellers. I scrolled past it without stopping, but my chest noted the name like a barometer, noting pressure. The apartment was quiet. My mind wasn't. I opened my laptop and changed my pinned note from say yes to bill first. The cursor blinked. The lemon tart girl had become a woman who charges. In the morning, the family group chat pinged. Mom, hey, honey. Emily says she hasn't heard from you. Everything okay? Mom, Uncle Darren needs help moving photos to his iPad. Can I give him your number? I stared at my phone and felt heat rise. Not anger exactly, just the kind of clarity that leaves no room for apology. Me, hey Mom, super busy this month. Big deadlines. Can't take on side tech stuff right now. Hope he figures it out. Silence. Then the read receipt. Then nothing. I put the phone face down, poured coffee, and watched the steam unfurl like a curtain lifting on a different act of my life. Later, Sean texted, You in for a front-end cleanup? Our UI guy rage quit over colors. I laughed out loud. Send me the repo, I wrote, and he did, with payment up front, like a real adult. Somewhere between the invoices and the code comments, I heard my sister's voice in my head. Useful. I let it pass through me like weather, and then I wrote something better on the whiteboard above my desk. I build things that don't break when people lean on them. And for the first time, I believed it about myself. If you'd told me a month ago that I'd wake up excited for video calls titled Sprint Sync and QA Review, I would have laughed you out of the room. But there I was, Monday morning, coffee in hand, screen glowing, heartbeat steady with a sense of belonging I hadn't felt in years. Sean's voice came through the call first. Half gravel, half caffeine. Morning, team. Fanny, that patch you pushed, saved our sanity. You're officially on hero rotation. The others cheered, half joking, half real. I smiled awkwardly. Compliments were rarer in my world than debugging miracles. After the meeting, my phone buzzed. Adrian again. How's the chaos crew? Efficiently chaotic, I texted back, then added, might work late again tonight. The 3 dots danced, then paused. Got it. Just don't forget to eat something that isn't code. I promised I'd try, but try meant eating reheated noodles over a half-built front end while lines of CSS blurred into poetry. By Wednesday, my tiny apartment looked like a battlefield of cables, sticky notes, and energy drink cans. Sean trusted me completely, handed me admin access like I'd been part of the company forever. You've got good instincts, Bhushan, he said once. Better than people we've paid 10 times more. That single line echoed for days. The thing about respect is, when you've gone without it for so long, it feels almost suspicious. I kept waiting for the catch, for someone to say, actually, can you just fix my printer while you're at it? But no one did. Then the family chat pinged again. Mom. Hey, sweetie, Uncle Darren still can't figure out that iPad thing. Just a quick call. Mom. I told him you're the best. I inhaled, then exhaled. Once, those words would have hooked me. You're the best was my cue to perform. Now, it was bait. Me. Sorry, Mom, can't. Deadline's this week. The reply came 20 minutes later. Mom. Oh, okay. I guess Emily's too busy too. Translation: You've changed. And she was right. I had. That evening, I walked away from my desk for the first time before midnight. Adrian was at my place, reading on the couch. He looked up when I sat beside him, leaning my head on his shoulder. "How's the new crew treating you?" he asked. "They pay, they listen, they say thank you." "That's unusual," he said, half smiling. I laughed. "You're telling me, but it's nice. I finally feel like I'm part of something that doesn't drain me." He brushed my hair behind my ear. "Good. I like this version of you." I almost told him about Lena, the ex whose name I'd spotted in that email thread, but it felt silly. Just a name. Just weather in the distance. We ordered Thai food and watched an old movie until my phone buzzed again. Sean. "Hey, sorry for the late ping. Our UI guy rage quit again. Can you jump in for the night shift?" I sighed. Adrian noticed. "Go," he said softly, "but at least take the pad thai with you." I kissed his cheek, grabbed the food, and logged in from my desk. The hours blurred. Somewhere around 2 a.m., Sean and I fixed a crashing API, and he said, "You know, if we survive demo week, we should celebrate. Drinks on me." "Careful," I said, smiling through the camera. "That's how startups end up in HR training slides." He laughed, tired but sincere. And I realized something. The feeling wasn't attraction. It was belonging, the kind that didn't ask you to shrink. 2 weeks passed like a montage. Coding, meetings, adrenaline, and tiny victories. My inbox filled with thank yous instead of plus fix. For the first time in my life, useful didn't feel like an insult. Until the family dinner invite arrived. "Mom, Sunday dinner. Be there. Emily's home from her business trip." I almost ignored it. But part of me wanted to show up, not to prove anything, just to stop hiding. That Sunday, I walked in and immediately smelled rosemary chicken and tension. Emily sat at the table, laptop open, posture perfect. She looked up just long enough to smirk. "Oh, hey, she said. "Still doing your little tech projects?" "Something like that," I replied evenly, hanging my coat. Mom flitted around the table. "Fanny, did you hear? Emily just got promoted. Regional strategy lead." I smiled politely. "Congrats." Emily closed her laptop. "And you? Still freelancing?" "Actually," I said, pouring myself water, "I'm consulting for a startup, infrastructure, DevOps, the works." Her brows lifted. "Infrastructure? Since when do you do that?" "Since I stopped fixing everyone's Wi-Fi for free." The silence after that sentence was thick enough to slice. Dad cleared his throat. "Well, good for you, kiddo." "That was new." Emily stabbed her salad like it owed her money. "Well, that's impressive." The word hit me like a tiny victory bell. For once, it wasn't dripping with sarcasm. After dinner, as I was leaving, she called out, "Hey, send me your portfolio link. Maybe I'll pass it to someone who needs a web fix." "Sure," I said, smiling too sweetly, "but I charge double for family." Her laugh was brittle, but it was still a laugh. That night, back home, I stared at my screen filled with half-written code and full-blown potential. I wasn't just the backup tech anymore. I was someone's first call. Then, out of nowhere, my phone buzzed. Unknown number. "Hi, Fanny. This is Lena Park. We met ages ago through Adrian, I think. Just saw your name in a VC email chain. Congrats on the project. Hope we can collaborate sometime." I froze. The message was polite, harmless even, but it hit the same nerve Emily used to press. Disguised curiosity with a touch of competition. I typed, "Thanks," and nothing more. No emoji, no invitation. For the first time in years, I wasn't chasing approval. I was earning it, on my own terms. 2 days later, Sean texted, "Demo days confirmed. Investors in 3 weeks. Buckle up." I smiled, already strapped in. But a tiny shiver passed through me. Because if there's one thing I've learned about peace, it's that it's a magnet for interference. And mine was due for a test. 3 weeks. That's all we had before the demo that could make or break everything. Sean was half sleep, half caffeine, and the rest of us were no better. Deadlines blurred days together until night meant nothing but softer lighting. I'd never been so busy and never felt so alive. Our workspace, digital and physical, was chaos. But it was my chaos. Sticky notes framed my monitors like constellations. Bug lists, fix lists, ideas scrawled at 3 a.m. I didn't feel trapped in endless favors anymore. I felt chosen. Then, one morning, my inbox lit up. Subject line, "Launch shoutout." Tag, confirmation. Sean's company was going public with a pre-launch highlight. Contributors would be tagged. Real names. Visible credit. "Cool with that?" Sean asked over Slack. I hesitated only a second before typing. Do it. Within an hour, the post was live. Big thanks to Fannie Mail for stepping in and making the impossible happen. My notifications exploded. Old classmates, ex-coworkers, even my college professor liked or commented. And then, I saw them. Emily Mail viewed your profile. Twice. Then Mom. No comment. Just a quiet digital footprint. I laughed out loud. The kind of laugh you give when the world suddenly feels tilted in your favor for once. By evening, I'd gotten a call. Not a text. A call from Mom. Hi, honey. I saw something online. Something about a company tagging you. That's right, I said lightly. We're launching soon. Wow, she said. Is that full-time now? No, contract, I said, smiling into the phone. But they treat me well. There was a pause. I could hear her confusion. No 401k, no corporate title. How could I possibly be proud of that? Then came the inevitable. Emily said she was surprised to see your name there. She thought you were still doing small projects. Ah, there it was. The translation. Emily didn't know you could be relevant. I smiled. Tell her things change. 2 nights later, Sean messaged me. Investor dinner Thursday. Casual but good visibility. Want to come? I typed yes before overthinking it. Adrian, on the other hand, wasn't thrilled. He stirred his coffee slower than usual. Another late night? Networking, I said. Could lead to more contracts. He nodded, but his jaw tightened. Will Lena be there? The name hit the air like a dropped coin. She might, I said carefully. She does PR for the VC firm. He forced a half smile. Right. Small world. I told you there's nothing weird between us. I know, he said, voice soft but heavy. Just don't let her get in your head. She has a way of making people question their worth. That line sat with me longer than I expected. Thursday night came. The dinner was one of those half-formal, half-startup events where everyone wears blazers over hoodies. I was nervous but steady. Lena was there, sleek hair, perfect posture, a glass of red wine, and the kind of smile that made people want to impress her. When Sean introduced me, she extended her hand. Ah, the Fanny, she said warmly. I've heard so much about your work. All good things, I hope. Of course, she said, eyes flicking just briefly toward Adrian's name on my phone screen, lighting up with a text. You've really made yourself indispensable. Compliment or warning, hard to tell. Sean jumped in, praising my crisis management and back-end rebuild. For once, I didn't deflect. I nodded, accepted it, let the words land. Afterward, as people mingled, Lena caught me near the bar. You know, she said casually. Adrian and I still talk sometimes, nothing big, just old habits. I blinked, surprised. That's nice. Everyone needs nostalgia. She tilted her head. You're confident. I like that. I smiled back, too sharp to be sweet. Thanks. Confidence is easier when your servers don't crash. Her grin faltered. Just for a second. Enough. The next day, Emily texted. Emily, hey, got a sec? Me, what's up? Emily, can we meet for coffee? I sighed. We weren't got a sec people. We were see you at holidays people, but curiosity won. We met at a minimalist cafe, where even the chairs looked judgmental. Emily arrived in her corporate armor, blazer, heels, and the scent of achievement. Thanks for coming, she said. I'll get to the point. I've been consulting too, brand strategy for startups. One reached out about a rebrand project. They mentioned your name. My name? They said you came highly recommended, that you've been helping their platform stabilize. Sounds serious. It is. She hesitated. They asked if I'd want to pitch for a rebrand, but I realized I don't know their infrastructure, so I thought maybe we could team up. You handle the tech side, I handle the comms. We'd be a strong pitch. I looked at her, the same sister who once called me useful, not impressive, now trying to collaborate, as if history were a blank slate. Emily, I said quietly, do you remember what you said the day I fixed your laptop? Her eyes narrowed slightly. No? You said I was useful, not impressive. She blinked. I didn't mean it like that. Yes, I said, sipping my drink. You did. And that's okay. You were honest. But I've outgrown being your fixer. I'm building my own thing now. Her lips tightened. That's not fair. No, I said calmly. It's overdue. The silence stretched. Then she stood, smoothing her blazer. Good luck, Fanny. Her tone wasn't cutting. It was confused, like she didn't recognize the person sitting across from her anymore. That night, Sean texted again. Hey, saw you were tagged in another post. Congrats on the visibility. Just checking. You okay with the attention? I thought of Emily's offer, Lena's sly smile, Adrian's quiet unease. Then I typed back, Yeah, I'm okay. Because for once, I didn't have to scream to be noticed. I just did the work. And it was true. For the first time in my life, being seen didn't feel like exposure. It felt like arrival. The launch day came with sunlight that felt unreal, too golden for how exhausted we all were. For 3 months, my world had been screens, circuits, and caffeine. But today, it became real. Sean's message popped up before sunrise. Sean, server's holding steady. You're magic, Maylee. I grinned and replied, not magic, just maintenance with style. When the official announcement dropped, videos, client testimonials, a highlight reel of everything we'd built, the internet actually noticed. The startup's social post exploded. Comments poured in. Finally, someone built this right. Who's their infrastructure lead? Seamless. There it was, Fannie Mail. Platform infrastructure and stability lead. My name, public, real. By noon, my phone wouldn't stop vibrating. Old college contacts, recruiters, even one of my old managers, the same one who'd told me to tone it down in meetings, sent me a polite congratulations. Then came the call I didn't expect. Emily. I let it ring once, twice. Then I let it go to voicemail. Her voice came through soft, almost hesitant. Hey, just wanted to say congrats. Big day. Everyone's talking about it. Didn't realize you'd gotten that far. Anyway, maybe we can catch up soon? I'd love to hear more about what you're doing. The words sounded like they were wrapped in confusion, not malice. Still, I didn't call back. That evening, I stood in front of my mirror, tired eyes, hoodie again, and smiled. I wasn't dressing for approval anymore. I was dressing for me. I slipped on a blazer anyway. Tonight was the rooftop mixer. Sean had texted, VC crowd, open bar, wear something that makes you feel like you own the place. So I did. The rooftop buzzed with music and the low hum of ambition. Tiny appetizers floated by on trays. Investors in sleek suits said things like circle back and next round potential. When Sean introduced me to one of the lead partners, the man extended his hand. You're the one who fixed the meltdown back in March, right? Impressive work. I shook his hand, smiling politely. Thank you. Just doing my job. He leaned in a little. Not many can balance scalability and sanity under pressure. You've got instinct. Keep that. For a moment, it hit me. I'd waited years to hear that from anyone, but especially from family. And when it finally came, it wasn't from them at all. It was from people who'd actually seen my work. Halfway through the night, I turned to find someone watching me across the crowd. Lena. Of course. She was talking to another investor. All sleek lines and soft laughter, but her eyes flicked my way. She approached, wine glass in hand. Fanny, you look incredible. Congratulations. This event's a hit. Thanks, I said, measured. You part of the team tonight? She smiled, helping the VC with press material, just making sure the story shines. She tilted her head. You really made waves with this launch. Though, she paused delicately. Some people are saying the infrastructure success was a team effort, not an individual one. It was framed as harmless, but her tone was polished poison, just enough doubt to plant a seed. I raised a brow. Interesting, because last I checked, no one else stayed up 4 nights straight patching corrupted nodes. She blinked. Her mask slipped, just for a heartbeat. Of course. I just meant team spirit, you know? Sure, I said evenly, but credit's not a group costume. You have to earn your fit. Before she could respond, Sean appeared beside me. Fanny, the press wants a quick quote about your work. Lena's smile froze mid-expression. Oh, she said. Then I'll let you enjoy your spotlight. I followed Sean, the adrenaline pulsing in my chest, not from confrontation, but from something new. Control. The interview was short. A few questions about technical challenges, future plans, how it felt to stabilize chaos. When it ended, Sean laughed. You're a natural. Want to join the PR team? Not a chance, I said, smiling. I like the quiet work, the kind that runs underneath everything else. As the night deepened, I found a quiet corner overlooking the skyline. Adrian texted, Proud of you. Saw the press release. You're everywhere, I replied. Wish you were here. He sent back a photo of takeout containers and his cat sitting on the laptop, holding the fort. Don't forget to eat. I smiled. Then my phone buzzed again. Another message, this one from Emily. Emily. Hey, weird question. Do you still fix screens? My friend's laptop won't boot. I stared at it for a long moment, the city lights reflecting in my glass. It was almost funny, like the universe had given me the perfect test. I typed slowly, not anymore, then hit send. 2 days later, an envelope arrived in my mailbox. Handwritten. Front. A cartoon cat holding a tiny laptop. Inside. Just wanted to say how proud we are. Dad showed your video to his bowling league. Emily's been quiet lately. Haha. Love, Mom. I read it twice, smiled once, then set it on my desk, right beside a new folder. Offer letter, head of infrastructure. Before I could even celebrate, Sean called. Guess who asked if we're hiring a brand consultant? I didn't even pretend not to know. Emily. Bingo. Want me to tell her we're moving another direction? I exhaled slowly. Tell her the truth. We already did. There was a pause on the other end. Then Sean said softly, You okay? I looked around my apartment, the clean desk, the glowing monitors, the sense of calm that wasn't borrowed or conditional. Yeah, I said, because for once I didn't have to fight for the spotlight. I just earned it. He chuckled. That's why we hired you. Correction, I said, smiling. That's why you kept me. The call ended. I leaned back, the hum of the city outside like white noise for peace. And for the first time, being useful didn't feel like a label. It felt like power. The next morning, I woke to sunlight spilling across my desk. Soft, warm, and quiet. My inbox was the opposite. 100 new notifications, 2 new job offers, and a message from Sean titled, Let's Make It Official. Inside was a contract. Full-time. Head of infrastructure. Benefits. Salary. Authority. The works. I read the line twice. Then once more, slower, just to make sure I wasn't imagining it. A year ago, I'd been fixing my sister's busted laptop for free, half hoping for a thank you that never came. Now, I was being offered a leadership role by people who didn't need to love me to see my worth. They just saw it. When I called Sean, he didn't bother with small talk. So, you in? Depends, I said, smiling into the receiver. Will I have to start wearing blazers to meetings? Only if they're ironic, he said. Welcome aboard, Male. I hung up and sat there for a long moment, letting the silence hum. Then my phone buzzed again. This time from Adrian. Dinner tonight? I'm cooking. Celebration style, I texted back. Celebration and apology. I owe you both. When I got there that evening, the apartment smelled like garlic and olive oil. Adrian had actually lit candles. 2, uneven, slightly tilted. He poured wine into mismatched glasses and said, I saw the announcement. Head of infrastructure? That's huge. Yeah, I said, setting my bag down. Feels surreal. He nodded, then sighed. I also need to say I'm sorry. For doubting. For the late-night eye rolls. For Lena. I froze. What about her? He rubbed the back of his neck. She DM'd me again. Said she heard rumors that the system's success was overstated and that she'd love to offer the VC a better PR angle if things went south. I didn't respond, but I should have told you sooner. I leaned back, processing. Of course Lena couldn't stand being out of the spotlight. She's trying to rewrite the story, I said quietly. But she wasn't there at 2 a.m. when we resurrected that server from the dead. He smiled, small but certain. No one else was. For the first time, I didn't feel threatened by her shadow. I felt grounded, because I didn't need to prove anything anymore. Not to Lena, not to Emily, not even to myself. The following week, at our first executive meeting, Sean projected the metrics on a screen. Uptime, 100%. Load stability, flawless. User growth, through the roof. Fanny's systems are running cleaner than a priest's conscience, he joked, earning a round of applause. I laughed, shaking my head. Please don't make that my LinkedIn headline. But it stuck with me. How easily this team laughed with me, not at me. No hidden barbs, no backhanded praise. Just mutual respect wrapped in bad humor and cold brew. After the meeting, Lena's name came up again, this time from the VC partner. By the way, we had someone reach out claiming to have inside info on our launch story. Said they could correct a few details. Sean and I exchanged a look. I smiled politely. I hope you told her corrections aren't needed when the data speaks for itself. The partner grinned. Exactly what we said. A few days later, a new message popped up on my phone. Emily. Hey, saw the title change. Congrats. I know things got weird between us. I didn't mean to make you feel small back then. Maybe I was jealous. You did things I couldn't understand. Anyway, proud of you. I read it twice. This time, it didn't sting. It didn't even spark. It just settled. Like closure finally found its seat at the table. I typed back, Thanks, Em. I appreciate that. I'm doing okay. Hope you are too. That was all it needed to be. Later that night, I was alone at my desk again. The city outside was a string of moving lights, reflections on glass. My monitor glowed with quiet pride, error logs empty, uptime flawless. The cat card from Mom still sat in the corner. Next to it, my new company badge. Fannie Mail, head of infrastructure. I thought about all the versions of myself that led here. The girl who fixed things for free, who thought usefulness was the ceiling. The woman who stopped apologizing for her expertise. The sister who finally said no. I smiled, whispered softly, not just useful, necessary. Then I closed my laptop, leaned back, and let the hum of the city fill the silence where doubt used to live.